Peace, peace, peace. Welcome back to Sound the Record Street podcast. You know, it's your boy Vic Slang Hope.
It's your girl Kai.
And today we're going to talk about, you know, the whole Bill Cosby situation. We're going to talk about our thoughts on the Bill Cosby situation. There's been a lot of stuff going on. I've been seeing it. This has been going on for like what, like a year, or two? Like
Yeah,
when we got locked up
since
last year, right?
since
When he
like
went,
2019.
oh, I feel like he went to jail last year. Damn.
I know.
So he
Well, I
was,
mean, we've
yeah,
been there because of COVID.
yeah. So he was in jail for a little bit. All right, boom. So yeah, I feel like when he the stuff first started coming out, like everybody was talking about it. Salute, salute. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody was going crazy. And then he got locked up. And then you didn't really around the same time the R. Kelly stuff was going on too. People was talking about the R. Kelly, people was talking about the Bill Cosby. There was a lot of stuff. Um, and then now is like, it kind of got like died down, got quiet, shit went away. And now people, obviously the courts overturned. I don't know if they I don't know if they re-sentenced him. I don't know what they really did. But anyway, they said he had an unfair trial. So they brought him back or whatever. So and I'm not surprised, like, but I feel like in the black community, like a lot of people are having mixed feelings about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got people saying like, certain people came out and said like, yeah, I knew a Bill was innocent. Certain people was like, yo, like I watched an interview with Mark Lamont Hill and the judge, and I believe I sent it to you too.
Hmm.
And oh, somebody said the charges dropped. I don't know if the charges dropped. I don't know if they. I don't know. But I know they said it was an unfair trial or whatever. So I didn't really follow. I should have probably done my homework, more homework on it. But yeah. So it's just been a lot of sentiments around. Yeah. Somebody said we abandoned too quick. Definitely. The black community is known for that, right? Like the moment something comes out in the air about somebody black, like we just so quick to like bash them down, to to just we just go 1,000% like against them without even getting like the full story or the full scope of things. um so I think it's interesting, how it's being handled, right? Like how some people are saying like, they believed in him, or and stuff like that. And me and you have had these kind of like arguments and back and forths. And then there's also the other side of people like nah, like he should be held accountable. Like, and I'm just like, what are you? And then even though the courts overturned or they said like he had an unfair trial and all of this stuff, like there's still people saying stuff like, first of all, we put our trust in the law, right? We let the courts handle certain shit. And this is the thing about people, right? This is the thing that I don't really understand about people. We get into the like, let the courts handle it, right? The truth gonna come out, right? Even though just because you convicted doesn't mean that's the truth, right? I want people to understand that. And before I even go into stuff, like, let me say this in the beginning, because y'all got a habit, not y'all, the people that follow me and fuck with me, but people have a habit of taking your words, especially in the internet, and twisting shit up and adding their own little spin to it and trying to say what you're trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, so let me say this from the beginning, right? Right now. I do not support, I do not endorse any type of rape, any type of like rapey behavior, like any creep shit. Like I do not support it. I do not endorse it, and I do not justify it saying shit like, "Oh, you probably was touched when you was a kid." Like even though all those things do play a component, they play a part in the situation. Like I don't do that shit. Like I'm not saying here. I'm not talking about what you went through. I'm talking about, I will talk about what you did. What is your, you know what I'm saying? What's the situation? You caused harm to somebody. So like, yeah, somebody did something to you, somebody touched you, somebody, okay, I get it. But we're not about to do that to escape the facts that you just caused harm to somebody. And those actions should be held accountable. Um, so anyway, so I'm because I gotta say that before I get into like, my opinions. But I've been rambling, but go ahead. I'll let you, I'll let you.
Okay, so I did a little bit of homework. Um, and so the reason why the his case was overturned was because there was a discrepancy in the trial. And so the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled that basically like a non-prosecution agreement with the previous prosecutor should have prevented him from ever standing trial. They also claimed that the witnesses that were used were prior bad acts, right? And that their claims fell outside the statute of limitations. So when they say that they ruled that when they said that they had a non-prosecution agreement with the previous prosecutor, Bill Cosby had did a deposition, I believe in 2004, right? And in his deposition, he admitted to giving quaaludes to this one woman who worked at Temple University, and engaging with sex with her after he gave her the quaaludes. But part of the agreement of him making this deposition was that anything that he has said in this deposition could not be used against him. When they did when all the 60 women came out and all that other stuff came out and they did the actual trial, the judge ruled that they can use this deposition because it was, what did they say specifically? I'm trying to remember the specific words that they said, but they said that they could use it because it was an example of his continuous behavior, something along those words. That's what the judge has said. So
Yeah,
the reason why this trial is being overturned is because they're saying that that deposition should have never been used, and that deposition was a large part of the evidence that they used to convict him. So once they throw that deposition out of the window, they don't really have any basis in terms of the charges against him.
yeah.
So that's basically like the situation. That's like what happened with this trial. Um, and personally, for me, I'm gonna start off by saying this, right? Um,
Too smiling for.
at the end of the day, um, Bill Cosby chose to engage with white women. As a Black woman, right, that is none of my business. That's just where I stand with this, right? So I'm indifferent, right? I'm not standing on a hill trying to throw him underneath the jail. And I'm not also standing under the hill saying free him, right? That's the conscious decision that he made, right? Bill Cosby has been married to his Black wife for decades, longer than any of us here have been alive. And he chose to continuously cheat on his Black wife with white women during the 70s. And you know, white men don't play about their white women. So we can sit here and we could talk about how the Black legal system, and we could talk about how it's been problematic towards Black men, right? And we could talk about the history of that, right? But we can also talk about the history between Black legal systems and Black men and white women. And
Make sure y'all
I
like the
think,
video too, man. Make sure y'all like the video so it can
and
circulate. My bad.
right. And I think at the core of everything, I think that he's being punished for having the balls to not only deal with white women, but to treat them the way that he did, right? Like they were disposable creatures that he could sexually exploit and discard. It's very similar to how many Black women are treated in these spaces. And I think that white men are coming, and they're coming to punish him. And me personally, like I said, going back to originally what I said, because I'm gonna let you talk after this. I don't really, once you choose to make that, if you're foolish enough to engage with white women, peace on to you, King. Like it's nothing left I could do for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely this reminds me of like Malcolm X, right? Like Malcolm X wrote in his book, he said, because Malcolm X was fucking with the white girls too, so like,
Hmm.
and then Malcolm X realized, like, mind you, the girls were setting people up with them, like, you know what I'm saying? So they was part of the they was accomplices in robberies with Malcolm X and his other male Black co-defendant, right? So, and then when like they went to trial, I don't know if they went to trial, but I know like when they was handing out the sentences, he said like, yo, the girls got like 2 years or like some probation or something, the white girls, and he was just like, and they got like 8 or 10 years, 8 to 10 or some crazy stuff, right? And then he was like, at the moment, he already know about the injustices in the system and other stuff, right? But then he was like, I realized like I only really got that time because I was messing with these white women. Like
Hmm.
he was like, he said like, then the dawned on me, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they made an example out of us because we was messing with these white women. Um,
Hmm.
which is interesting that you mentioned that. And so yeah, definitely, I definitely do agree. Like, I think anytime Black men engage with like Black women, I mean, Black men engage with like white women, this is like it's a lot of shit that come with that. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of shit that them women are going, they just, what I'm saying, you never know which way they might sway. Like, you know, um, like I think about so many scenarios, like it would be like, yeah, it's just crazy. It's just a lot of crazy stuff that be happening. But anyway, I think that like kind of like what you said, right? Like I felt like when all these people started coming up, like one thing that I pay attention to is how like Black men have always been like kind of like, you know, like every time they wanted to assassinate the character of a black man, or somebody that was of importance, or somebody that was like looked up to by the black community, or somebody that, you know, was like like, you know, like somebody like a role model, somebody that, you know, like kind of like motivated people, or gave people hope, or whatever the case might be, right? Or was at a height in their career. Like I noticed that like they always use rape to kind of like assassinate your character. Like rape is like the, we could talk about the Michael Jacksons, we could talk about the you know, Mike Tyson, you know, Tupac. um we ain't gonna talk about Mystical, but because you know, I think Mystical did that shit. But you know what I'm saying, like Kobe, you know, like it's just like Tupac went to jail for rape, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? And even though he blew trial, and this is the thing I be trying to tell people, like Tupac blew trial to rape. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people be thinking like, oh, because you blew trial, that means you did it. Like, that's not necessarily true. You know, like sometimes you can't prove your innocence, and that's the crazy shit. Like people, but a lot of people don't understand the court system. A lot of people think like for example, people get locked up for guns, and people be surprised like how you get home. Like they throw shit away. Sometimes they seize the gun illegally, right? Sometimes they do certain illegal shit to lock you up, to send you to jail, and stuff like that. So anyway, I don't want to get far away, but the legal system, like we, a lot of times we be believing that whatever the legal system rules, or whatever they say it is, like that's what it is, and that's the truth. So I just want to throw that out there, and because, you know what I'm saying, like Tupac always talk about like, yo, like I don't want to leave this world where people thinking I'm a rapist. Like, you know what I'm saying, like that was like his big thing. Um, so anyway, but yeah, like I just feel like even the little kid with Michael Jackson, right? Like he came out years later and he was just like, yo, my mom made me lie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this man lived a life, you know what I'm saying? He went on in his life. Like who knows how the fuck he felt? You know what I'm saying? Like, because people was calling him a child pedophile. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or just, you know, so it's just crazy, bro. Like you die, and then after you die, your name get cleared up. Like that shit is just, it's just, rape shit is no joke, man. Like when people like play those type of games and like put that shit on you, that shit just, that shit tears you up. In jail, people do not care. Like a lot of times people not trying to, like, I only knew one guy in jail that he used to talk about his shit. He was like, I didn't do the shit. He was just like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was open about it. But like you gotta be a tough ass dude. You know what I'm saying? To like, you know, just cause people gonna they're automatically looking at you a certain way. And even if certain people give you a pass, there's always somebody thinking like, nah, nigga, you did that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but what I feel like it's more people. Um, Kobe Bryant, like I mentioned Kobe Bryant, I mentioned Mike Tyson. I think Bill Cosby also fell into this situation. I think Bill Cosby fell into. I'm not saying that he didn't do nothing, or whatever. Cause think about this. Let's use this scenario: alcohol. Technically, under the law, if you give, oh, if you're drinking, if a woman is drinking, technically under the law, they say that a person that is drinking does not have the ability to consent to sex. Technically, right? But most of the time, people get intoxicated before they have sex. More, if not all, I'm not gonna say all the time, but most of the time, people be going out, people be getting a little tipsy. You know what I'm saying? People like to feel a little buzz. You know what I'm saying? And then they engage in all type of acts, right? Technically, under the law, that's rape. Am I gonna say you like? Am I gonna say you rape somebody? Because you know what I'm saying? Because it should be happening like that too. Like, you know what I'm saying? She, like you mentioned white women, and white women be unpredictable like that sometimes. Sometimes I see my man try to ghost a white chick, and she just became crazy. Like she, you know, they come up with shit. They say you took advantage of them, and you know the court system, like you said, you getting slayed. You getting slayed. Let them get to some white jurors up there. You getting slayed. You know, and they start doing their little shit and start crying and doing their little, you know, you getting slayed. You getting slayed. Like ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like a black woman, yeah, they might be like, she lying. Because you know, they never, you know, they treat our black women differently, right? Um, but
Right.
so I think that they use rape. I also think that like the judge, what's his name, Judge Joe Brown or something, whatever. He was saying like, yo, that's what people used to do back in the days. It was even women that were saying that was sticking up for Bill Cosby. You know what I'm saying? They were saying like, yo, this is what everybody did back in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, people fucked with the Quaaludes or whatever, right? Like this is something that they was doing. And Bill Cosby had access, he had money, and he was getting it to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when I heard like other women saying and testifying, like, yo, we was all doing that. That was some shit. And then like, I don't know. I just felt like, there was the reports about him trying to buy NBC, and then there was all this influx of just women just came out the woodworks, right? Like, I just feel like one, either y'all was like hiding this shit, right? Because I just feel like this, right? It is no way like all these women like they just popping up. Like, I just felt like somebody had tabs, or somebody was hiding this shit or suppressing it, and then they used it at the right time, right? Like, they like you keep that draw four card, Uno, you know what I'm saying? You try to hold that shit to the end, and then bang, try to play yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's kind of like one of the things that happened, and led to his, to his demise and shit. And I feel like they just went mad hard. Like, they took all his shows, they like from the air, like they just went crazy on him. And I think, yeah, like you said, they were trying to make an example.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I mean, there's so many points though that I have to make about Bill Cosby because it's just there's just so many. I just feel like this is not the hill that Black people should die on, right? I don't think that this is the man that we should all mobilize and like stand up against, right? And be like, oh, they did him wrong and blah blah blah. Um, but going back to again what you said, right, about white women, right? Like you used the word, right? And you said like unpredictable, right? And I don't think that white women are unpredictable, right? I think they're very predictable. Like since the beginning of time, right? Like they've always used this ability. I think white women are like very violent, right? I think white women are like in some ways more violent than white men because of their ability to present themselves as being innocent, because of their ability to present themselves as being like weak and docile and fragile. And it's this their ability to do this is not only susceptible to white people or white men, it's also susceptible to our own, right? So black women will fall guilty to like believe in these white women. Black men will run to the rescue of these white women, right? Because we are indoctrinated with this idea of white women being pure, um, right? And
I don't know
so
about who, but
not everyone,
nah,
obviously.
I just messing with you.
Yeah, but I think that
I think they filthy
I
animals. Nah,
I think that I think again, agreeing with what you said, I think that they made an example out of this man. Um, and I think that he should have known better. I don't think that he should engage with these women the way that he did continuously for years, right? Um, so another point that I was gonna make was I felt like I hear a lot of people saying sentiments that you said, right? How they you feel like they threw the book at him and like all these different things, right? Like that they did. Um, but when I did my homework and I looked at the case, right? I looked at the deposition, and y'all can all look this up. I believe it was in 2004, 2005, where he admitted just with this with the one woman, and I think her name's Andrea something, Andrea, I forgot her last name, whatever. But basically, that's the one woman in this whole trial, this whole situation. The 60 women were witnesses, right? He was not convicted for all these 60 women. Just to clarify, right? It was this one woman, and for this one woman, he did admit to putting Quaaludes in her drink, right, before they engaged in sex, right, and having sex with her while she was drugged, right. That to me,
that's not
just
who
based off
that's not who he was recently convicted for though.
who was he recently convicted for?
It was, I forgot the woman name, but this woman, this is what you were saying, that they use this to reinforce, like, because a lot of these shits, the statute of limitation went by, like it was gone.
Right.
So you were saying that they
There was a
used
depth.
that case. He already had like, so he probably did get convicted like in 2004 because part of the agreement, right? You agreed to it, and they probably marked it like, boom. So his
He
other
didn't. He didn't. He didn't even get convicted in 2004. He never got convicted for it. It was a deposition that they had did or whatever. They never fully charged him with the charge, whatever. But what
yeah,
happened was,
but a deposition is like the result of the case. So
mhm,
so he agreed to it, and then what was the penalty? A fine. It
well,
was it
that's
got.
the thing. That's well, I'm not. It was a settlement. They did a settlement,
Oh,
but
okay, okay, okay.
part of the agreement, it was a few. I think it was like I think it was a lot. It was like a million. It was crazy.
Yeah,
But the settlement part of the agreement was that they could not use that evidence of what the girl was saying,
yeah, because
whatever,
once you
against
settle,
him.
but that's what I'm saying. Once you settle, it's like boom. When you do something
Right.
as a somebody that got money, the people have the choice, right? They'd be like, I don't want him to go to jail, and they'll be like, I'll just sue him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that I'm guessing that's what she did or whatever.
Or sometimes they don't want to go that full route, right? Sometimes that as a victim, right, like that may just be more traumatic, to go through the whole exact thing, to go against somebody as large as Bill Cosby. And if he's throwing a large number at you, someone will just take it and just choose to like just shut up and go in the corner, right?
Because Michael
because at the
Jackson settled.
time because at the time in 2004, right, unbeknownst to all of us, right, we didn't know this whole situation, right, and that was the whole point, right, was to keep this under wrap. So when all these 60 women, all these women start coming out, right, and this trial comes out, and they use the deposition from 2004 with this girl, what I'm specifically talking about is what he has said in this deposition. Now, despite the settlement that he made, he agreed to have the settlement, right? I'm still looking at what he said out of his own mouth, right? He said that he put Quaaludes in this girl's drink. He put drugs in this girl's drink, got her drugged up, and had sex with her. To me, by definition, that's sexual assault, right? That's just how I view it. Again, going back to my original point, Kyra is never standing up on any hill chanting that we should throw Bill Cosby under the jail. But I'm also not screaming free him because I don't think that is any of my business. But if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. So I feel like based off of what he said, I think that we can acknowledge that if Bill Cosby was white, he would be treated severely different, right? We can acknowledge that. That statement is true, right? But at the same time, even if he did get worse treatment, that is not giving him excuse for what he did. I still think that he should be held accountable for the things that he said out of his own mouth. Now, am I talking about all the other 60 women? I'm not
He
talking
paid
about that.
exactly. He paid the bread. That this is what I'm
I'm
saying.
I'm
The
not
woman,
listen. I'm not talking about the 60 women and he paying the bread. To
no,
me,
I'm
I'm
saying
sorry.
I'm saying the woman who came out against him and said whatever she said, right? She chose
Right.
to get bread because she didn't have to choose to get money. Like you can get upset all you want. She didn't have to choose to get money because she had the option. She could just press charges, send this nigga to jail. She could have did that.
If okay.
But hold on, but she wanted bread, so she took bread. Like
She
it's still
accepted
a
she took a settlement. I'm
yeah.
sorry, but just because a woman takes a settlement, it does not excuse the actions. A man can sit here and full out rape a girl, right? Fully sexually assault her, right? She can sue, he can get a settlement. Does that not make him a rapist? Because
I
she took the
think
settlement?
I think that the victims should decide. And I think this is the problem with this is one of the big problems I have with the court. I think like they don't include like the so-called victims or the people that stuff happened to and what they want, right? Like the courts just take over, they be like, yo, we're gonna take care of this for you, and they go out there, whatever, and they represent you, right? Supposedly, right? But I think sometimes people don't want jail time. Sometimes people don't that what the victims want is not considered a lot of times, right? So in
True.
this case, in this situation, this woman that was a victim, she decided like,
She agreed on the $1 million.
yeah, she agreed to taking the break. So
Okay.
I mean, that's her. That's what
That
she wanted
does,
to do.
but I and everything that you say is true. But to me, that does not excuse his actions. That's all that I'm saying.
Oh no, I'm
That's
not
it.
saying nothing about excusing this action. The woman got what she wanted out of the deal. If she wanted
But
him to go
that
to jail,
that's my whole point. I'm still looking at him sideways because I'm like, yo, what's up? What's going on? Like this how
I
we
get it.
moving?
I would look at him sideways too. Like, but I'm just saying like the outcome of the situation is well, it was the outcome. Like boom. Like I committed a crime, you know what I'm saying? I committed a crime 10 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever, right? Like it's like boom. Um, does that mean like right now, right? Somebody could go out there and just tell somebody they see me with a firearm, and it could be a lie. It could be a complete lie. But because I got locked up before for a situation like that, you know what? People they're gonna be like, yeah, you did have a firearm. The feds. I remember when I went to this thing and the federal agents came. It was the federal agents. It was the state district. It was a federal district attorney, not federal agents. Federal district attorneys, um it was state district attorneys, right? It was like and it was police captains and stuff, and they was trying to, like, a lot of us was violent felons. So what they did was they came there to threaten us and scare us. They was like, oh, all of y'all got violent felonies. They was like, if y'all get caught with a gun again, there was like, and the feds prosecute you, you're gonna do 10 years. The dude said, even if somebody tell us that they seen you with a gun and we don't recover no firearm from you, if we prosecute you, you're gonna do 10 years. Like, he was just talking mad crazy. And this is the thing, because you have a pride. And I'm not saying, of course, I'll be looking at him shake like, damn. But at the same time, I didn't live in that time, right? So when people from that time come out and say like, yo, this is some regular shit that they was doing back then, it's just like it's just like today, right? Today, the thing is what people. I get it. It's the whole sneak thing, right? Whatever. But today, it's like you hand somebody a drink, and I'm giving it to the. This is what I understand today. Today, you hand somebody a drink. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, you got them drunk. It don't matter. Like it don't even matter if like she chose to drink. It don't matter. Like you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like that's where we at today, right? Back then, I don't really know. Like, yes, it does sound shady. It sounds crazy as hell. Like nigga said he put shit in her drink. Like, you know what I'm saying? That just sound crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm just telling you, and today, and I'm not defending that. That definitely is shady. And I'm just also adding that today, right? Like I could give you alcohol and you could literally agree. Like, you know what I'm saying? I could be telling you, like, yo, like here, like hold this down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this, it's liquor in there, and you could literally get drunk
Right.
and you could, you know what I'm saying? And then boom,
Right.
it's still considered rape. Like you could wake up tomorrow, you could have agreed and all that, and you could wake up tomorrow and be like, nah, he drugged me. Like he gave me alcohol, and they might ask you like, he was like, yeah, I knew, but like the law is you can't consent to sex when you're intoxicated, and
Hmm.
you could have been not even slumped drunk, like you know what I'm saying, and I'll still be in problems. So yeah, like I just feel like yeah, that shit was shady what he did, but I also see how like the law works today in terms of rape, right? And I feel like it doesn't even benefit black women because I feel like when black women report rape or do certain things, right, it goes unreported. It's just a lot of funny shit with it, right?
If Bill Cosby did this to black women, we would not be where we're at right now, and that's the sad reality of it, right? But I think that's true, right? But what I was gonna say is, I feel like a lot of people like champion Bill Cosby as like this like great like prominent black leader, right? And it's understandable, right? Because during the 1970s he did have the first African American led show, right, which was the Cosbys. And then later after that he paved he paved the way for a lot of other black like sitcoms, right, including like A Different World. And this and while I feel like this is a great achievement, I think like we should take a step back and I think we should look at Bill Cosby's politics, right? And again, like everything that I'm saying could be searched up, and these are words that came out of his mouth, right? So Bill Cosby is an elitist, right, and a black conservative, right? And Cosby spoke, right, at the 2004 NAACP Image Awards. He has a speech called titled "The Pound Cake." And in that speech, he basically justified the unarmed killings of young black men by saying that, you know, that they were committing petty crimes, and that he blamed black parents, he blamed single mothers, he criticized people with the names Shaniqua, right? Like he literally used these words in his speech. Um, and he stated like his disapproval of black men who wore do rags, saggy pants, and wore their hat backwards, right? He also criticized hip hop, right? Um, and I just think that, you know, I think the majority of people who have come out in defense of him have been black men. Um, and I think that
We
Bill
gotta stick together,
Cosby
man. The
probably,
women out to get us.
I think that Bill Cosby, sorry to say, probably wouldn't have liked half the black men who go so hard to defend him, right? He doesn't like poor black people, right? He doesn't like you hip hop singing um, men who come from single black mothers, who wear do rags and wear your hat backwards and you wear your pants sagging, and committed crimes, and he doesn't like felons, right? Like these are literally things that like he stated, right? Um, and I think that it's very similar to me, right? When I think about like the OJ trial, right? I remember when OJ was going through everything he did, and black people again, right, championed against this whole thing and was standing behind him, right, because of, you know, the legal system. And, you know, they was coming at OJ again, right? They came at OJ so crazy because again, what did OJ choose to do? OJ chose to engage with white women, right? And they were punishing him for that, right? And so us as a culture, right, we stood behind him, right? Like free OJ. OJ didn't do it. This, then the third, boom, boom, whatever. um,
He also killed
and
the white woman. That
one
that's
of
big.
OJ's, and again, chose to engage with white women. And one of the most famous OJ lines, right? And Jay Z has a little allusion to this in one of his songs, right? Where he says, I'm not black, I'm OJ, right? And that's something that OJ stated, right? OJ specifically made it a point to separate himself from black people once he reached the level that he was at. He also specifically made it a point to marry and have kids with a white woman,
You
right?
saying
And
once he
so,
reached the level where he was at, or did he always separate himself? Like, how did
well,
he
he
grow up?
wasn't he wasn't
Yeah,
raised
yeah,
wealthy, right?
yeah.
So
So he was,
once he reached a certain level, he made it a point to separate himself from being black, right? He made it a point to to do that, right? But as soon as he was in trouble, right? As soon as he was in trouble with the law, right? He's black again, right? And this is unjust and all that type of stuff, right? So the reason why I'm bringing up this speech from Bill Cosby in 2004 is that I feel like, I'm just using Cosby words against him, right? Cosby said that black people need to stop blaming the system. Cosby said people need to stop,
I agree.
blaming racism. Cosby said that black people, he basically contributed to the pathology, right, of blackness, right, of this idea of poverty, right, that poverty, and the reason why black people are in the conditions that they are in now is because that's their choice, right? Simply because that is their choice, and they need to stop blaming these systems because these systems don't exist. So all I have to say in response to Bill Cosby is when we critique what happened to him, we need to stop blaming the white man and we need to stop blaming these systems that don't exist. Bill Cosby, what happened to him is because it's what happened, right? It was this justice system that happened. This justice system that has been working for us for years. This has nothing to do with racism. This has nothing to do with white men, right? Bill Cosby needs to take personal responsibility for his actions, and that's the problem with black people, right? Whenever we get into trouble, whenever we get into issues, we want to blame the white man and we want to point our fingers at these systems. We got
I
to
agree.
stop doing that. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
So I think that if we're going to critique the Bill Cosby situation, we need to keep that same energy. We need to use Bill Cosby's advice in this situation, right? So let's chill out with the black with the black movement and the black men coming behind them and saying free Bill Cosby and all that stuff because he black, he going through this. No, that don't exist. That's not real, right? In Bill Cosby's own words. Um, so yeah, that's another point, right? That I feel.
Somebody said, "Do you think he did it? You think he did it?"
I wasn't there holding no green light. I don't know. And honestly, for real, I don't care. I don't care. I really don't care because you know why? Again, like I said, I'm not screaming free him, and I'm also not screaming to throw that man in jail. Once he crossed to the other side and he started engaging with the White Walkers, I left him over there in the Caucasus Mountains. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on. That's not my cup of tea. I don't engage with white men. I don't engage with white women. I
Tell
don't
him,
engage
girl.
with
Tell
white
him.
people. So
Tell him,
once you
girl.
choose to do that, right, as a black man, as a black woman, right, as a person of color, period, you chose your side and you're gonna stay on it. Now, when you get in trouble, you get into the hot seat when the white folks decide to literally lynch you, because that's what they doing about. You chose to go over there.
Oh,
You
he was
chose to
talking
leave
about.
your you chose to leave your black wife at home and go ahead and engage with the white walkers. I don't know, bro. It's none of my business.
Yeah, man. Now he said he was talking about OJ. I definitely think OJ did it.
Oh, OJ definitely did it. Yeah, hell yeah,
Somebody
yeah. And
tried to
then
say that.
he wrote a book. I'll talk about some if I did it.
Yeah, like
Come on
yeah,
now.
I feel like OJ did it, and because the climate, they use race, right? His lawyers were very smart. They used it. They used this racism card. You know what I'm saying, to get him free. You know what I'm saying? They turned it. But this is what it is. Like people fail to realize that um a lot of that shit in the court system, right? A lot of things in life is not about logic. It's about how you can trigger somebody's emotions. Um, that's all it is about, especially in trial. When you talking to the jurors, you not presenting the facts. Like even though the court system say, "Oh, it's about the facts, it's about the evidence, it's about this shit." No, they putting up a show, and they are talking to the emotions of them people that are sitting in them seats. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody was shot, you know what I'm saying, they start saying stuff like, if this was your son, if you know what I'm saying, like they start talking to them like somebody got raped, they'll be like, well, if this was your daughter, like, like this is kind of like the stuff that they do because they're trying to prey on the emotions of people. And I think that's the same thing his lawyers did, right? Like his lawyers preyed on the emotions of the people. They made it like it was a race thing, you know what I'm saying, to railroad him. But we going away from the thing. But yeah, I think that definitely if Cosby did it, I just think like I look at it with a little more scrutiny, right? Like I just think like when it comes to black men, like certain black men, like being accused of rape, like I look at it a little more like because I know the history of, you know what I'm saying, like them using rape to get black men and to throw them in jail, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's like the easiest shit. Like, why? Because it's hard to prove. And once you throw that out there, even if you beat the case, people already looking at you like, yo, bro, like they was accusing you of rape. Why people playing with you like that? It's just like when you call somebody a snitch. You could call somebody a snitch and it cannot be true, but people already like, why they calling you a snitch for though? Like why they even got your name with snitch together? You know what I'm saying? Like even if you didn't tell, even if ain't no paperwork, people gonna stop fucking with you the same way. People gonna stop, you know what I'm saying? They just gonna not deal with you the same. Um, so I feel like it's the same thing. Like when people throw certain rape stuff out there and like or like all these women come out and they do this and like, you know, that stuff never left Michael Jackson. It was people that, you know what I'm saying, stopped messing with Michael Jackson because of that. Some people were still loyal to him. Some people was like, nah, they lying. But it's just your image is tarnished. It's just
Right.
like it's tarnished. So I think that was I think that was the point. I think they already knew, like you said, about the deposition. They knew they couldn't use it, but they was like, yo, we still gonna do this. He never admitted to the one that they was actually they actually convicted him of, right?
Right.
But people are using like, oh, but look, he admitted to this before, so because
Right.
he's shady, because he already got that shady thing on his name, like
Right.
how can we believe he ain't really do it this time?
Right.
And I think that's the thing, right? And I think, like I said, sometimes you cannot prove your innocence. I think sometimes, especially when like if you're known to be a shooter and then they say you kill somebody, that person can't say you ain't do it. He dead. You know what I'm saying? So now you trying to prove your case, and people was like, yo, but you're a known shooter. You got prior records. You know what I'm saying? You don't went to jail for shooting, and it's just like sometimes you just can't get away from certain things. And like for me, I don't really. How do I don't really. I feel like I don't really care either. I just hope that black people, when it comes to black people, being accused of certain things, I just wish we was not so quick to like just you know what I'm saying, like just violate our people. I just feel like damn, like sometimes we have to, you know, let's wait what they see. Let's see what's going on. Let's not be so quick to like it's like we just be waiting, right? Like they said, like, you know, when you're down, like, you know, everybody comes over try to get a kick, you know. And I just think that that's just my whole thing. My whole thing is like I seen how like how one moment you could be I see how like one moment you could be like somebody that's looked up to, and like Tory Lane said this, right? He was like, yo, like he said when the story got out, he said nobody called my phone. He said it was people that know me personally. They didn't call my phone. They just jumped on the Meg bandwagon, right? He said, and that shit hurt. Like he was like, that shit hurt that you can't call me, bro. You couldn't call me and ask me like what happened, like what's going on. But you got an opinion. You quick on the internet, you posting shit. Like it's just crazy. So I think that, yeah, we just need I like to take my time with certain things, especially rape. And again, I don't condone that shit. That shit's not cool. I think rapists should get like the most foul punishment that you could think of. I also think they should be castrated. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know what I'm saying? Like castrated. I actually think they should be killed, to be honest. I feel like if you took advantage of somebody, you took advantage of kids, women, like, you know what I'm saying, like just taking advantage, men, like you taking advantage of people, like that shit is like the ultimate psychological mind fuck, like you can ever do to somebody. Like, and yeah, like you should be tortured and killed. I'm saying like they should slow death should be
I
your punishment.
I agree with everything that you said. And I also feel like, again, I just feel like this is just the wrong thing. This is not the hill that we want to die on, right? I think there
Yeah.
are important things. There are way more people who are more valuable, that we should mobilize behind. And I think I say that specifically because of Bill Cosby's history and his politics and the very words that came out of his mouth, right? Like you can't sit up there and do something shady, right? And then it doesn't. I'm just not. I can't pick this dude, right? I can't sit behind him and go hard for him. I really can't. And
Yeah.
it's sad, right? Because you want to, right? Because it's an old man. And you're like, yo, just leave Bill Cosby.
And
But
then
then
he did the what the fuck was that?
when
That
you
shit.
but listen, when you sit back and you look at
Yeah.
all the stuff that he did, including that, you gotta be like, all right, come on, man. You making it hard for me. Hard for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
So
when I see that shit, I'm like,
Yeah, you making it hard for us. So I personally, again, like I said, I kind of, I'm not gonna sit here and go too crazy hard for him. I don't want the man in jail. I don't want the old man in jail. But also at the same time, I'm not gonna sit here and scream at the hilltops, free him, right? Um, I think that Bill Cosby could have been more. What I think about and what I'm thinking about right now is that Bill Cosby could have been more of a prominent black figure, right? I think that a lot of people, right, and I think it's important to note, right, black people who do champion things, right, black people that do pave the way, right, for certain people, because he did have the first black led show, and his show was very impactful, right?
His show was before the Jeffersons. I don't even know because both of them shits was old.
Heard. I don't even know, but I know. I think he had the one. Of the, I think he had the first black led ones. I think, and then a different world came too, which is also he was a part of that too. Or he was a
Yeah,
producer. He was behind the scenes on that one. But I know that he just definitely he paved the way, right? And he was able to show a black family that went to college, right? That it was different, right? It was a different image in the media than how we were usually portrayed. And for that, I give him that, right? But at the same time, this is like us championing Barack Obama, right? He was the first, right? And I'm sure he paved the way for many people, right? Well, we'll be able to say that years from
he
now.
was the first biracial president.
But right, right, exactly. But you get what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
Similar to that, when we take a step back and we actually look at Barack Obama and his politics, we look at Barack Obama and what he's done, then we come to question, right? When I take a step back and I look at Bill Cosby and I say, okay, you was the first black show, you did the Bill Cosby thing, you know what I'm saying? You did the Fat Albert thing, okay, you did your thing. But then when I take a step back and I think about your actual shows, your actual art, right? Like you you denied it, right? Like at your artistic table, right? None of your actual shows during the 70s, right? And we all know what was going on during the 70s, right? Actually talked about race. Your shows completely ignored race. Your shows completely ignored the actual realities of what black people were going through during the 70s, right? Like, and you neglected history, right? And you overlooked the struggle. You overlooked everything that was going on within the community. And for me, for you to go and do that during your prime and then turn around 40 years later and now want to be on this political tirade of telling black people to pull up their pants and stop listening to hip hop and stop blaming the white man, I can't rock with you. You know what I'm saying? Because what did you do other than be the white man's puppet? What did you do other than further contribute to white supremacy and the idea of elitism and respectability politics? Because
Um.
that's really, in my opinion, looking at his work and really critiquing it, similar, again, comparing it to Barack Obama, that's the conclusions that I came up with.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. And yes, it makes sense. I also think that like I also think that black people just get caught up on talking about suffering. I think like I'm tired of hearing about the suffering. I'm tired of hearing about the system. I'm tired of hearing about certain shit. Like I'm just tired. Like how long we just gonna talk about slavery? How long we just gonna talk about certain shit? How long? Like right? It just be like we'll have a conversation about it, and then it's like we never talk about solutions. We never talk about like what we gonna do now. Like we always talk about the Oklahoma shit, right? There's a whole bunch of entertainers who got money today. Like dudes could really do something. Dudes could really build something. Not saying that they have to. Nobody got to do that, right? Nobody got to do shit for the black hood. That's the thing. People fail to realize like these artists, these entertainers, these celebrities, they don't got to do shit for the hood. They don't got to do nothing for you. But I feel like we hold them to a certain standard. We try to hold them. We try to be like, you're a representative of our community. You got to do this. You got to create rehabilitation centers. You got to build housing. You got to know. Just because Nipsey wanted to do that, and there's a few others that are trying to buy the neighborhood and improve the conditions, they don't got to do that.
No, I agree.
No, I get that. I'm not saying that you're saying it. I'm just saying that like this is the thing that we get into. We get into the once you make it to a certain thing, it's like, what are you doing now for us? Like, homie, he made it to wherever he made it, however he made it. Like he grinded, he did whatever he did. Like, and I just feel like it's cool. And I agree with some of the things that you mentioned that he said. I didn't even know he said some of those things. I do agree with certain things. The do-rag, no, I don't agree with I don't agree with certain things that he said, but I agree with some things that he said.
I think
Huh?
before you what he said, because I only did it, I put it in a synopsis. I would encourage everybody to go look at that speech. Right, it's called
You said the
the pound cake.
pound cake. Yeah,
Called the
so
pound.
Yeah, definitely. Make sure y'all like the video so it can circulate. So make sure y'all go look at that if y'all want to see it. But my whole thing is this. I agree. I think to a certain extent, the powers that be psychologically enslaved us. You know what I'm saying? Like people are suffering. You see it with the artists. People talk about these social justice weirdos, right? That's what I'm gonna call them. They sit here and all they talk about is mass incarceration. All they talk about is the system. All they talk about is the white man, the this, the that. But they never talk about accountability. They never talk about like, yo, you fucking up. You know what I'm saying? Like you out there, you know what I'm saying? They just make mad excuses. They just sit here and be like, oh, but we went through slavery. And we was like, yo, come on, bro. Come on,
Yep.
bro. Come on, bro. Like we like we not doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like,
What I feel like. I feel like
I'm
this Bill
saying,
Cosby situation, we're not doing that.
no,
We,
that's a fact. I think
we're
I
not
think
doing Bill Cosby. What did you do? Take accountability. You went to
look,
white boy.
look, I don't
You
know if he blink.
did it that cell. That's what
Yeah,
you did.
sure.
So
Yo,
I
but
100%.
no, that's real. That's real. And I'm just saying, like, I agree with some of the stuff that he was saying. I agree with the whole notion that like you said it. You said it yourself. Look, what makes you like you black, right? A little bit, but nah.
Yeah.
I'm saying you black, you know what I'm saying? Like you grew up in the hood, like you know what I'm saying, but you have certain ideals, you have certain morals. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not out here just like fuck it, like I'm about to just go have a kid. I'm about to just do certain shit. People are doing that. People are doing that. Like we not about to sit here and be like blame it on George Washington because Shaniqua wanted to go out there and have 5 kids. I'm saying, and she was now she gotta go to the Maury show. You know what I'm saying? Cause she slept with Jimmy, Jaquan, and Trey Sloan. Nah, nah, but it's just like come on. At some point, I get what he was saying. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, yeah, we could keep sitting here talking about all this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because in the midst of a lot of things going on, there was Harriet Tubman's. We don't talk, we always talk about the suffering. Let's talk about the people who actually did something, right? Let's talk about the Frederick Douglasses. And even that, it's just history, but it's there to make us move. And I think that I'm glad that he had a show, like even Family Matters. Family Matters wasn't no show that was always depicting, like nobody wants to see that all the time. This is how they program us to think how we think because they keep showing us the images. They control the music industry, right? So I agree with him. Yeah, a lot of the shit that they doing with rap is trash. All they doing is feeding our kids some poison. You know what I'm saying? These dudes be saying in these songs, when I run to my app, I'ma blast them. And these kids really be thinking, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's the shit. Like when I catch, you know what I'm saying? As soon as they see somebody they got problems with, they shooting at them. They don't care if it be cameras. Like, and it's like, where are they getting this from? Rap. So I agree with the shit that he was saying. I agree with the rap. I agree with the sagging of the pants shit. You know what I'm saying? That shit is not cute. You know what I'm saying? Like this some shit they do in jail. They take your belt. They claim it's some shit to like so you don't hang yourself, so you don't commit suicide, but they take your belt. Now you walking around sagging. You walking around. This is what they do in jail. If you got sweats with a string, they'll cut your strings. Now you sagging. And then they tell you, but then when you get upstate is different, right? Because upstate they be like, yo, don't do that sagging shit. Don't play that sagging shit in prison. But in city jail, most people walking around, you gotta find a belt. You gotta figure, or you gotta get some tight ass sweats sent in that they ain't gonna really fall off your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but for the most part, it's like, yo, they taking your belt, they doing certain shit. Now you sagging, you walk around with your ass showing. So it's just like that shit not cute. I mean, people turn it into whatever, right? Like, I never really sag like that anyway. Like, I never really liked the idea of just having my underwear out. First of all, you sitting in public places and then you come home. I doubt you changing your underwear. You know what I'm saying? I doubt you come home and I doubt everybody come home and just shower. You know what I'm saying? Like then you sit in your bed, you sitting in like, come on, like it's just not smart. Like, so I don't disagree with him. Like the do-rag, yeah, I disagree with the do-rag. I just feel like the do-rag, I even did a paper on the do-rag, and it's a cultural thing, right? It's a cultural artifact. Like it's something that like, it's different. But certain things he does have a point. And yeah, like, and I think like some people don't like that, but I think it's real. I think like we need to see that. We need to see black people talking about different things besides suffering and trauma and pain. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
I I don't agree with his politics. Right. That's not my form of thinking. That's not how I think. I think he relies heavily on respectability politics. I think he relies heavily on conservatism. I think he feeds into like black pathology, just the criminalization of black people. Period. He's definitely was definitely he definitely promoted people going to school, right, and basically like, seeking jobs within like higher education, and basically if you wasn't going to college you wasn't doing shit. I think that he contributes to like this idea of like family dysfunction. And I think that, people who contribute to those ideas, right, like um I think that how can I say it, I think that they give white people, right, and some white Republicans love Bill Cosby, right, because what it does is it gives a reason once again to deny um, the role that America has played, or the culpability in maintaining the black underclass, right? So once you scream out, take responsibility, take personal responsibility, it's you, right? Like it's you wearing like the do rags and sitting up in jail, and it's you single mothers. It's you're the reason why. Take this personal responsibility, right? Him saying, don't blame the white man, don't blame these systems. These systems don't exist, right? Once you say that, right, they have no culpability, they have no responsibility, right, to fix everything that's going on, right? So I think, like, personally for me, I'm not a huge fan of politics that revolve around that, right? I think there is some truth to it, right? I don't think that black people are completely just victims of the system, right? I think that black people do contribute to it, but for me, I'm more on half and half spectrum of it, right? And I think Bill Cosby was on the extreme, right? Bill Cosby didn't want to acknowledge these systems at all, right? Because it was in his benefit. Um, so I think it contributed to his story, right? His champion story of like Zeus, right? Like I'm the one that made it out, and look at me, and I went to college and Howard, and pull your pants up and don't listen to hip hop music and boom boom, and look, you'll just be just like me, right? Um, and I disagree with that, right? I think it's a little bit nuanced than that. I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. Um, and yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I think that like me, anytime I say anything like, I have a video talking about like how long you gonna blame the white man, right? Like how long you gonna blame everything? How long you gonna blame the fact that you beat your wife at home on the white man? You know what I'm saying? How long you gonna blame? Look, how long you gonna like? I made a video about that, but I also highlight certain things. I'm not oblivious that I'm not gonna never sit here and say that there's not a system that try to keep us down,
right,
or that there is not people or powers that be right there. I'm not gonna say like it's hurdles across the road. I get it, but you still gotta run the race. Like
right,
at the end of the day, it's like, yo, you on the track, and it's like, okay, there's a hurdle on. We know there's hurdles on the way, but
right,
what? But am I gonna keep talking about the hurdles, or am I gonna talk about how I got across the hurdle?
right.
Saying
No,
like, am I gonna?
I agree
I'm
with
saying, and that's the thing. Like we dwell on, yo, it was mad hurdles. Like, yo, like shit was crazy. I had to jump. You know what I'm saying? I had to pace my like we just talking about the hurdles. Like, and it's just like, at what point do we tell people like, yo, this is how you get across the hurdle? Like, you know what I'm saying? This how you do certain things. Like, I'm not gonna say there was no hurdle. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna let you go to the track meet and be like, yo, there was no hurdles on the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah. Or it was piece of cake. No. But again, people grow up differently. I don't know how Bill Cosby was raised. And like I said, just because you live in the hood does not make you hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people just sleep there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's cool. And even in the black community, it'd be this thing, right? Like, if you're not hood, if you never been to jail, if you never did a crime, if you never like this certain shit, they just like, oh, you're not black. Or like, if you didn't suffer, or if you didn't like, you don't got the black experience. Like, it's almost like we always equate trauma and pain and suffering to like the black experience, and that's not the only black experience. And I feel like when you say that, when we say that, oh, we like, oh, you grew up in a 2-parent household, oh, you don't know the black experience. Like, it's just like, you sound dumb, bro. Like, yes, majority of the households in the black community are a single parent household. But to tell somebody like, oh, you got 2 parents, you don't know the black experience. Like damn. Like, that used to be the black experience. People was getting married. You know what I'm saying? Like, this single mother shit was not always this big, this, you
right.
know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, yo, like, but people don't know that, right? Because people don't read about certain shit. People don't look into their history. People don't look into their past. People was getting married during slavery. During slavery, people was getting married in the worst conditions, right? They believed in family, right? And the nuclear family, right? So it's like, come on, like, we just at some point we have to be better. Like, You know what I'm saying? Like, and then people be making stupid ass decisions. Like, they get pregnant. I don't believe in abortion. You know you're about to suffer. You know this dude want no parts of this kid, and you want to because you got some belief. And look, you can do whatever you want, but just know nobody gonna be feeling sorry for your ass. You know what I'm saying? You went out there, got pregnant. You knew he was a deadbeat. You knew he didn't want no parts of that. And now you want to like what? Now you want to blame men? Come on, it took both of y'all, baby. Like, so I agree. We just got to be more accountable, man. And I think as far as the whole situation, I don't know if he did it. I don't know if he didn't do it. If he did, man, he get what he deserved. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he didn't, you know what I'm saying? He's still gonna get what his hand called for, like you said. You put
Right.
yourself in certain situations. You know, you was you
Right.
you
I,
you, you should know
I
when
think
you
that
put
black people.
yourself. Like,
I think that black people, what we should take away from this whole thing is, I think black people should mind their business. I think this is not our business. I'm that serious. We always want to stick our nose into stuff. We always want to rally behind the wrong causes. There's way more people out here that really deserve our attention, that really deserve us to actually be mobilized behind. He is not one of them. Okay? Let's just all come to that agreement and let's just move on and stop talking about the man. Okay?
word.
Exactly. Word. Because
I ain't seen nothing. I ain't seen nothing.
he in that case. Exactly. So
Yo, that shit is crazy though. But if that's it, somebody asked about Dr. Umar Johnson. I feel like I don't want to be talking about that on this one because this was about like Bill Cosby. I like Dr. Umar. I think Dr. Umar gets shitted on a lot because he talks the truth and he don't be
and
playing
Dr.
that shit.
Umar is smart. Dr. Umar does not involve himself with the White Walkers.
But look,
That's
he
why
defend
you'll
but
see him.
he defended Bill Cosby though. He said I knew you was look, even though he's off that you messing with them white girl, he be on this.
No, he does not to the Snow Bunny crisis.
You know what I'm saying? He be on his shit. You know what I'm saying about black man messing with the white woman, but he said something about like I knew you was. He said we got to defend our elders. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that's one thing that he said, and I think like a lot of people, a lot of even young people coming up don't respect the elders. I think like that's one thing I agree with. Um, I think like elder is an elder at the end of the day. Like yeah, they have their faults, they did their shit or whatever. But like I try to respect my elders and I just try to I try to be respectable to like the older people. But on that note, I remember who you said the show. Yeah, they were talking about the Cosby thing. Somebody said it was the show during the crack era, and like it wasn't even really like even the Fresh Prince of Bel Air had a little, you know what I'm saying, like talking about certain stuff. You know what I'm
Those
saying,
Cosby
like
shows, all of them completely ignored everything that was going on, and that's my
even Family Matters had like
everything, completely ignored everything that was going on. My whole point is, if that's what you are on, right, don't sit up here 40 years later and come down and tell us to pull up our pants and do all this stuff when you, during a time in which you was so big, you could have spread such a large message, you could have actually contributed to something. You chose not to. Right, you chose not to because it wouldn't have benefited you. You chose not to because it wouldn't have contributed to your image, right? For the white people that you was tap dancing for. So keep on tap dancing and don't try to come out and make little political comments. I'm personally, for me, I'm not for that. You know what I'm saying? Because when it was actually when you really had some power, right? You chose not to do that. Don't do it when you're safe now, bro. Don't do it when you're 80 years old and you want to die in bed. Like don't do that. You know what I'm saying? That's personally how I feel.
nah, I feel you. But yeah, I like Dr. Umar. I think like there's a lot of backlash because he's too real. I think it's always gonna be like that. But yeah, I don't really, yeah. But on that note, thank you guys for tuning in, for watching the show. You know what I'm saying? Like if y'all want to give us suggestions, y'all can do that on the comment section about like topics y'all might want us to cover. Um, Somebody asked about this. This is gonna be I think we did interracial relationships already. But yeah, but just if y'all want us to talk about certain things, y'all can just drop it in the comment section and we'll get to it. We'll respond to it. Let us know what y'all want us to talk about, what y'all want us to get into. But we appreciate everybody that tuned in, that stayed with us, even if you came in for a few minutes, you know what I'm saying, you hit the like button or whatever you did. We appreciate you guys, and we will see y'all, God willing, next Sunday. Peace.